This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Eubank Jr. at the Wasserman boxing offices in London. Chris, how are you?
Feeling good. A little bit tired, but we're up, we're early, and we're getting this press day on, so it's I'm having fun.
Exciting times ahead for you. Obviously, the Wasserman link-up, your fight going to be shown on Sky, and of course a lot of talk about what could be next for Golovkin fight. I spoke to Canelo Alvarez earlier about a potential Liam Williams fight. How exciting is this for you at this stage of your career to know there's a path in place and certainly your route back towards the top and trying to win a world title?
I mean, it's huge. You know, being the the front guy for this new generation of boxing on Sky Sports is, it's amazing, and there's a lot of opportunity now for me to go ahead and win these big fights on the biggest stage in sports in the UK. So I'm ready.
Tell us about your initial conversation with Canelo Alvarez when they first approached you, first wanted to work with you. What in particular stood out for you as to why you felt they was the right team to guide you at this stage of your career?
Well, they came at a time when I was actually with PBC and Showtime in America. I kind of made a move out there, and I had a fight in New York, in Brooklyn, and I won that in 2 rounds, I think, and that was kind of my debut into the States. And it kind of, it's a win's a win, but it wasn't what I wanted to show the American public. So it didn't go as I thought it would. Then COVID hit, and I was in a situation where I wasn't getting put on shows, and I didn't really know where I was headed, what direction I was going in, and I needed to fight, and that's when Canelo Alvarez, the Sauerland brothers, and Wasserman contacted us and said, listen, we've got a path here for you over in the UK. Come back over. This is how we want to push you. This is the fighters that we want to get you in the ring with over the next year, 2 years. And everything they said kind of lined up with what I wanted to do. So I made the move. I made the move back here, and now we're on Sky Sports. So it's been a great journey so far, and there's some big things to come.
Sven Emmen, the man you'll first be facing under the banner of Wasserman, obviously with Sky now. Talk to me about him. What are you expecting from him, and why are you opting to face him at this stage of your career?
So Sven Emmen, 18-1, German fighter, strong, tough, a good opponent. I've gone through quite a lot over the last few months. I've had some serious issues in the family, and on top of that, I got COVID really bad. And then after I got over COVID, I got sick again, which is crazy. So, mentally, physically, I wasn't really in a position to go ahead and fight for a world title or a huge fight, coming off of all of the stuff I've gone through over the last couple of months. So we decided to go with, a solid guy, a step up, a solid opponent who's going to give me a good fight. And then we're going to go for a big one in December.
You mentioned a big one in December. As I said, Canelo Alvarez mentioned Liam Williams, but the name which has been on the tip of people's tongues recently is Gennady Golovkin. He mentioned they've had some flirting talks over the past few months. Do you know anything more about where things currently stand with a potential Triple G fight?
I know that within the next 12 months, there's no real reason why it can't happen. They've shown interest. And, in terms of the fight fans, who else do they want to see fighting? That's a huge fight, especially if we can get it over here in the UK. So, yeah, we're going at that all guns blazing for sure.
I know in the past Eddie Hearn mentioned you as a potential opponent for Demetrius Andrade. Is that a fight which still interests you?
Listen, anyone with a belt in the middleweight division is of interest. From December on, big names and world title fights is what we're looking at, and so yeah, that's definitely a possibility in the future.
We know from your past experiences in the ring, you're high volume, you're a pressure fighter. You've entertained us throughout your career. Going into a potential bout with Gennady Golovkin, how would you anticipate that one playing out if that is eventually signed on the dotted line and you two do cross paths?
I mean, it couldn't be anything but an epic fight. the styles that we both have. He doesn't know how to fight going backwards. He only comes forward, and I don't stop throwing punches. So you put those two fight styles together, and it's going to be beautiful. And I've said it for years now. He's not going to knock me out. Nobody can knock me out. Not in the middleweight division. And he's not going to outpunch me. Just my volume is just he can't match the volume. So that's where I get my confidence from, in knowing I can beat him.
Last time out, obviously, we saw you with Roy Jones Jr. for the first time here in the UK against Marcus Morrison. What is the current kind of training situation with Roy? Will you be travelling back out to the States to train with him?
Roy's actually flying into England in 2 days. We'll finish up the camp with him. And yeah, Roy will be in the corner for the fight on October 2nd.
How much of the work yourself and Roy have done together do you think we was able to see him at Marcus fight?
Not everything, but definitely, you guys definitely saw a taste of things to come. I've been out of the ring for a long time, so the ring rust was there, but, we're brushing it off. And, the things that Roy has taught me, I'm implementing them as much as I can, and they're coming through each and every day. So you're going to see a lot more of it, within the next couple of fights for sure.
Now, on the Sky Zoom calls a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned there's only one fight you'd move up to 168 for, and that is for the man who many consider the pound-for-pound star in boxing, Canelo Alvarez. If you was to get that opportunity, how confident are you that you're the man who can beat Canelo at those higher weights? Obviously, his previous loss to Floyd Mayweather, a few weights below.
If you look at everybody that's fought him, none of them have my style. None of them have my heart, none of them have my speed, none of them have my tenacity. And that's what you need to fight a man like that. You've got to fight fire with fire. You watch all his latest opponents, and they're already beat before they get in the ring. They're in there to just, I don't want to get knocked out. Don't knock me out, don't hurt me. I just want to make it through the 12 rounds and take my money and go. Any fighter that knows me knows that that's not how I am. I'm coming in there and I'm all guns blazing. And I'm looking to take a man out at any given opportunity. I don't care how many people think you're the pound-for-pound fighter. That doesn't mean anything. What matters to me is, being the number one. And you've got to have that mindset. Most of these guys didn't have that mindset. They didn't go in there thinking they were better than Canelo or that they could beat him. That's definitely not the case with me.
So what do you make of his bout with Caleb Plant?
It's a good fight. He's trying to unify the division. I don't think Caleb will be able to stand up to the firepower. He's another guy. He's going to try and outbox him. He's going to try and do what Saunders did, what Callum Smith did. He's not going to fight him. He's going to run. Running doesn't seem to work against this guy. I don't know why everyone keeps trying it, but I guess we'll see.
Now, just a couple of things I want to quickly get your thoughts on before I do leave you. I imagine you'll get called up soon to go and have your speech up at the press conference. Firstly, this past weekend we saw Evander Holyfield suffer a sad first-round stoppage defeat to Vitor Belfort. I just wanted to see if you'd seen it or not, and just get your take on seeing him in the ring in that state.
Yeah, I saw the fight. It's a shame. You can say he shouldn't have been in the ring. They shouldn't have let him fight. But then you look at Roy and Mike Tyson. They put on a great show. They went 8 rounds together, but they were the same age. And he's fighting. He fought a Vitor Belfort, who he's been active over the last few years, very active. You can't take 20 years off and then go and fight somebody who is fighting fairly regularly, regardless of whether it's MMA or boxing. So yeah, it was a shame to see that, and I hope he doesn't get back in the ring again, because he has this legacy, and you don't want to ruin it.
AJ Usyk next weekend. What's your thoughts on it, Chris?
Good fight. I think AJ is going to be too big, too strong, too tough. But you can't write a man like Usyk off. He's very smart. He's very calculated. But yeah, I think AJ's got that one in the bag.
Fury Wilder 3 a couple of weeks after?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's I don't know who would want to watch that fight again after the last outing. Just Fury's just dominated him. I don't really see it going any other way unless Wilder just completely changes who he is as a fighter, which I don't think he's going to be able to do at this stage in his career. But at the same time, the punch power is always there. He's always one shot away from ending a night. So you can never really take that away from him or count him out. So, it'll be interesting to see.
And final one, when I walked in, you was watching a video of Conor McGregor. I imagine it's that one with Machine Gun Kelly. We've obviously seen some crossover from YouTubers, from MMA stars. Would you ever entertain a fight with Conor in the boxing ring?
Sure. If you want to pay me $10 million to get in the ring, what are you talking about, MMA or boxing? Oh, of course, 100%. Yeah, in a boxing ring, obviously that would be awesome. MMA, obviously, I'm not used to the kicks and the grappling, and I'd have to really train myself up for that. But that would be exciting. But yeah, in terms of stepping into an MMA octagon, yeah, the money has to be pretty serious because I have no idea what I'm doing in terms of grappling, in terms of kicks and elbows. So I'm putting myself in serious risk. So it has to be worth it.
Right, Chris, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. I look forward to seeing you back out in October. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Okay, appreciate it.